Welcome to another episode of The Wave. I'm your host, Don Texon, coming to you via Zoom right here from my living room. And we are going to do another show of the Wonderful Alberni Valley Experience. So here to share with us her Wonderful Alberni Valley Experience is my dear friend, CHARLENE Patterson of Char's Landing. Welcome to the show, darling. I'm so glad we finally were able to do this. Thank you for coming on the show. Say hello.
Thank you, Don. Hello, Port Alberni, Alberni Valley, the wonderful Alberni Valley. Hello.
Yes, definitely. So Char is one of my friends, my dear friends here in the wonderful Alberni Valley, who has her wonderful Alberni Valley experience to share with us today. I'm so
That's
curious to know the story behind Char's Landing. You will not find Char's Landing anywhere in the island except Port Alberni, right? There's the one and only Char's Landing right here in Port Alberni. It's sort of like a landmark in our town. I mean, everybody who, even my guests from the Airbnb that I used to do the year past, everybody said, oh, the only reason they came to my Airbnb is because Char's Landing was fully booked.
wow.
Well, anyway, darling, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Originally, where were you from before coming to Port Alberni?
Well, I would like to say thank you, Don, for everything you're doing for the Alberni Valley. This is you're reminding us how wonderful it is. The
It
whole
is.
experience. And you're a big part of Club Char. And I'm just so pleased that to have this opportunity to tell my story. So thank you. Where am I from? Well, I was born and raised in the Okanagan in a small town near Kelowna, and my family is mostly still there. I spent 20 years in Vancouver. I went to university, UBC, and 20 years I used to do IT or computers. And I spent 12 years on the cruise ships running the computer department. And then I retired, and I was looking for a place where I could buy land near the ocean with a building where I could live and have some sort of business opportunity. And a friend of mine from the ships lives in Parksville, and she was visiting her family, and I visited her, and we went around and checked out the island, and actually met a band from Port Alberni, um, uh, Mr. Ross and the Boss. That's
Oh,
Craig and
wow.
Linda
Do they
Ross,
still exist up
and
there?
they
Are they
invited me to
still
Port
around?
Alberni.
Okay.
Pardon me?
Is the band still around?
I didn't quite hear you. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, Craig passed away sadly, but
Oh.
Linda is still around. You'll see her playing. She does line dancing teaches line dancing
Mm-hmm.
at the community center, and yeah. So that was in late 2009, and I spent a week a month here checking out the town, and met Lyle Price, a realtor, and put in an offer on one building around the corner, and then later decided that this building would be much better. It was an antique store. Actually, Char's Landing was built in 1912. The first church service was August 4th, and it was built as a Methodist church, First Methodist, and then became First United, and then became Salvation Army. And when they moved out in, I think it was 2005, a lady, Lynn Wilson, purchased the building and made it into an antique store. Many people will remember shopping for antiques here. And then in 2009, I made an offer and took possession April 2010. So
Oh, okay.
moved
So
here.
10 years now.
Yeah, just past the end of my 10th year. I've presented over 100 SOCAN registered artists every year for 10 years now. And
Wow.
yeah, just celebrated that April 1st in isolation. So now Char's,
So April 1st is the anniversary of Char's Landing, you mean? The day of your possession?
yes, yeah.
Oh, wow. So no April Fool there. That was legit and complete.
Okay, we'll think of it that way. Yeah, that's right.
So you took possession of, as originally you said, that the building was built for a church. Was that the original intent of the building?
Yes, yeah. It was quite a bit smaller footprint. But yes, it was built as the First Methodist Church in 1912. Hmm.
Okay. Well, I've been around town, as you know. I am a person about town. I would say man about town, but just say person about. And
Very
by
personal
far,
person.
all the places I've been, Char has the best acoustics. I mean, by far, bar none. Char's Landing has the best acoustics and the biggest TV,
Yeah, the
the
biggest.
biggest smart TV
Yeah,
in town.
yeah. Well, how could I go wrong? I mean, it was built as a church, right? Can you imagine the choirs singing here and the
Hmm.
minister preaching? And yeah, I don't think I could go wrong with the.
And if I recall correctly, Char's Landing or you were awarded some kind of award for music by the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, Community Excellence Award. That was a really proud moment in 2016. Yes.
Yeah, tell us about a little bit about that. So you've
Um,
been featuring artists.
yes. Well, tell about the music or about the award.
Yeah, the music and then the award that led to it.
Okay. Well, Chamber of Commerce has worked really hard to recognize businesses and business people and people who excel in certain areas, and kindly I was nominated because, as I say, I do present artists from all around the world here, and so many of the community consider this a good listening venue for
Hmm.
musicians, and so they kindly uh, nominated Char's Landing. I don't think it's so much myself because this is a team effort. I mean, Club Char, all the regulars that come here, all the volunteers that come here, um, they are what makes up Char's Landing. So I accepted the award on behalf of everyone, and it was really quite an honor. It still is. I have the award up on.
Yeah, I know. I was so thrilled and so happy for you. Well, another question that's begging in my mind. So you were retiring and you were really looking for a property or somewhere to settle in the island. So what drew you to Port Alberni specifically?
Well, as I say, I met this band in Parksville.
Hmm.
I was at a music venue in Parksville, excuse me,
Go ahead.
and they lived. Craig and Linda Ross actually are from Calgary, and they found Port Alberni. It was affordable. Where else can you buy a 100-year-old former church to make it into your home? Where else can you do that, right?
Well, I don't know,
So,
maybe
and
somewhere
once
in
I got
Okanagan
here, I
or
met the music
Saskatchewan.
community. I went to a lot of the pubs, the bars, the. Pardon me?
No, just continue. You were saying you went to the pubs and the bars and you looked around town.
Yeah, here I met. There's so much music. I believe it was in the late 70s, I think 1979, when the school district, or this is the way I tell the story, made the decision to bring in a lot of music teachers, young, up and coming band teachers. And they really emphasized the music program in the high schools. So this town has created or educated a large number of very talented music scholars. So, and I was raised in music as well, and so it really, I had a strong attraction to the music community here. So lots of support, and we've had students here. We've had the concert band and the jazz band. We've had the Highland dancers and the marimba and buzz. All these local musicians here, and it brings me a lot of pride to be able to present them.
Well, I'm curious about because I don't see this in some place. I mean, in a very few places have I seen such a thing as a grand piano. That is a full-scale grand piano that you have in your venue, don't you?
Baby grand, but it's 1951 Baldwin, and
Wow.
yeah, when I first came here, actually, uh, the friend from the ships who had introduced me to the island music, I think you've met her, of course, Heather Costerson.
Oh, Heather introduced you to the island?
She's the one. She's the
Okay.
urban myth. I came to visit. She was having a vacation from the ships, and it's pretty hard being away from all your friends on the ship. So we commiserated, and she's a piano bar entertainer
Hmm.
from the ships, and she and I would sing Christmas carols on the ships and that sort of thing. So when I first came here, she was retiring from the ships as well, and so I invited her, and actually I shopped for this piano for her.
Oh,
I always wanted to have a piano in my hall, but my hall wasn't quite open yet. So she came and actually was a piano lounge entertainer at a restaurant down the road. And so I shopped around. I found this piano through a local piano tuner. And the way I tell the story is that the 1951 piano was in one family, three generations of the same family, and
oh,
was tuned by two generations of the same family. And the last person who had the piano was downsizing, and they needed to find it a good home. So I was really happy to do that. And now one of my artists that plays here quite often is a piano tuner from the cruise ships, and also an entertainer. He lives up island, and he's played here a number of times. And so he's taken on tuning and fine tuning my piano, and I'm proud to be able to say it's got the best action on all of Vancouver Island, the best piano action. So I like to be the best, do my best, and Club Char really is so supportive that way. So Stephen Ruskin is the piano tuner, and he's so supportive.
is Stephen from here in Port Alberni?
No, he's from Up Island, Courtney Comox area,
Oh, okay.
but they play here quite often. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to many places in our little town, and the only grand piano I've ever seen was yours. I'm not sure if they have a grand piano in a church somewhere, but by far yours is the best grand piano. And I've had the privilege of singing with Heather in one of her shows that we did in Char's Landing. It was like Char's is like my second home here in Port Alberni because it's just a block away from me, right?
You always
And
make
you were one of the first people who befriended me and who welcomed me with my little dog at the time.
yes,
And I knew that when I became your friend, I knew that yeah, I'm gonna live here. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be living here happily ever after.
that really means a lot. The way you tell the story, your story is something that I'm very proud of. Um,
Oh,
we are welcoming, and so many people come in our doors. People who are new to town, and they don't have their network of friends yet, and they come here, and you're never alone when you're at Char's at concert, or whether it's just lounge hours, whether it's a community meeting of some sort or a film. You can sit and always be amongst friends, and I'm very proud of that.
yes, Charles is sort of like a hub of people for people to meet and just relax and enjoy, and it's just so welcoming and it's so I don't know what to call it. Like I have a friend every time I have friends over from the mainland, the first place I bring them to is Charles Landing. But now we can't do that anymore for a while. But I'm looking forward to bringing my friends again.
Yeah,
Every chance I get, once I have a visitor, our first stop for the day is Char's Landing. You have to meet Char, you have to see the piano, you have to see Luma and La Poisson.
you really value add to every place you go. So you brighten up my day, you brighten up these walls. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I know we were, before this whole pandemic thing hit, we were planning something, a big event in April at Char's, right? We're going to have this big show, and I brought my friend over from Parksville. Remember that? We were
Yeah.
in the planning stage of a big event at Char's, but
Mhm.
anyway, someday soon.
Yeah.
So now that Char's
But
is
but we
basic,
did have the wave. We did have the wave grand opening.
yes, we did. We had the relaunching of the Wave, which was the last big event. Oh my God, that was such a privilege. That was my birthday and the relaunching of the Wave. That was March 9th of this year, and the week after, everything shut down. Can you imagine? I'm just so fortunate that I got to celebrate my 57th birthday. Yes, I'm 57. I age well, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, so you came to Port Alberni, and Port Alberni has been good to you. You're having a blast here. You're having fun, and you are continuing with your wonderful Alberni Valley Experience. You have Club Char, and I met so many people. And one of the favorite events I go to on a monthly basis was Words on Fire,
Hmm.
which was finally brought on Zoom now. Are you doing anything online nowadays? Now that we've shifted.
Yeah, I've pivoted completely. I'm completely Zoom friendly now. So in fact, we just missed one Words on Fire. And in fact, we started it up again in, where are we? In April, April 29th.
Hmm.
And it was so successful because Words on Fire has been here for 10 years. Um, and, uh, and we were so successful on that. Well, it's on the last Wednesday of every month, and that we all agreed to have a second edition. So now on the second
Hmm.
Wednesdays of each month, we're doing Words on Fire as well. And actually, you were with us last, what was it, May 13th. You were with
Yes, yes.
us briefly, yeah.
I
So
was there for a while, but something came up, so I had to go. But I'm looking forward to the next one. Actually, I don't know if Stephen mentioned this because I am going to be interviewing Stephen on
uh,
Thursday, I think, for the show as well. I ran into Stephen at Savon,
yeah,
and I called out to him. I said, "Hey, Stephen, you should bring Words on Fire on Zoom." And I don't know, I don't know if that's where he got the idea, but I did tell him to bring Words on Fire on Zoom.
well,
So
see, you were
like a week or two after, then Words on Fire came on Zoom, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad that Words on Fire is now on Zoom, hosted by Char, Char's Landing. What other things are you hosting at Char's Landing? Is there a concert coming up?
Yes, yeah, we've already had our first concert back on May 6th. I had it scheduled here. Um, the jazz pianist, was doing a Vancouver Island tour, or had planned to do a Vancouver Island tour,
Mm-hmm.
and he lives in New York City. So I approached him in mid-April, could we do it online instead? And so many of the musicians are actually teaching music online on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So because the musicians are really struggling right now without the opportunity to have live concerts. So they are really encouraging me to do more Zoom concerts. And of course, you've seen them on Facebook Live.
Yes.
But the trouble is that they're struggling financially, and they've asked for donations, but sadly, it's difficult. So
Yeah.
I'm treating it just like a concert here, where we sell tickets ahead of time. We do stories in the paper and stories with Shaw TV and with the Community Arts Center and with Rollin Arts Center. So I'm promoting it as I've always promoted, and we're hoping to build a business for the musicians out of this, so that they can actually make an income for doing their live concerts. And in fact, my plan is that when we are able to open Char's doors, is right now my liquor license has been suspended, as are all bars, and we are still having to social distance, and we're only
Mm-hmm.
allowed a maximum of 50 people. So when I am able to host live concerts here again, I'll do them both here and on Zoom.
Oh, that's
So
perfect.
yeah, so people
And
who want
it's
to stay home.
and it's fortunate you're a techie person anyway. So
Well, I'm learning, but I'm learning all the new technology. But yeah, I think you're definitely right. It's piquing my interest, and it's opening the doors to the world. For example, Transition Town, I've encouraged them to go on Zoom, and they had canceled their last meeting. They'd done it via email rather than meeting in person. So I've encouraged them to go on Zoom. And Transition Town is an international society. And so thankfully, they are right on board. Our local group will meet here, and I'll broadcast on the big screen TV the Zoom session, so they can have people from back east, or in other parts of the world, attend their meetings. And
oh.
it's really opening up our world, and I'm so happy to be part of it.
Well, thank you, Shar. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show today. So, off the top of your head, what has been your most poignant or most memorable Alberni Valley experience?
Oh boy.
Off the top of it, like what comes to the mind? What comes to your mind? The first thing that comes to your mind.
Meeting Donato was
Oh, you flatter me. That's what I had in mind too. No, I'm kidding.
that's the first.
Well, I guess the day you opened your doors, which was April 1st. When was Char's Landing officially open?
My first actual concert was March 12th, 2011. John
Okay.
Pippas. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that
John
was our
Pippas. Yeah, I met John. He's a hoot.
yeah, yeah. So many musicians have been so supportive over the years. But yes, that was my very first, and that was a big moment. He had his mom was in the audience, just so many different friends. Yeah, it was a big moment.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much, Char. This has been a wonderful time chatting with you, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more to chat about again. But thank you for sharing your wonderful Alberni Valley experience. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, in spite of the pandemic, in spite of the crisis, in spite of all life's problems put together, the wave will continue. The wonderful Alberni Valley will continue, and everybody is welcome to experience it. We will catch you next time on the wave.